All right, so as I said in the previous clip, what I want to do now is adjust the position and even the lighting on the can itself now that we've got all the other elements in the background in place. So let's go ahead and select the 3D layer here in the layers panel. And I'm going to go over here and open up again my 3D and properties panel, both located under the window menu. Let's go ahead and choose 3D here. And of course, make sure we have that properties panel as well. Now, the first thing I want to do is adjust the position of the can itself. So again, I'm going to select soda here in the 3D panel for that main object. And let's make sure we have our move tool selected. And now we can adjust the position of the can itself. So let's just kind of tilt that a little bit more this way. Don't forget to use that widget as well if you want. You can use the tools or the widget or both. I'm going to slide the can just a little bit closer. I'm using the slide tool, of course, here in the options bar. And maybe even tilt it toward me a little bit more. Maybe even bring it down just a hair, so it's a little bit going below the line there. So now, once I've got the can position where I want it, I'm going to need to adjust the lighting a little bit. So let's go and select the lights section. And you remember we got the spotlight, and we adjusted this at the beginning of the module. We widened the scope of the light and repositioned it. I think that actually looks pretty good. We need to adjust the image-based light, that glare on it. We'll do that in just a moment because I'm going to add another light here. What I want to do is you'll notice there's this shadow area in the lower left area of the can here. Now what I want to do is actually create a light that really kind of amplifies the blue light in the scene that's surrounding it. So here in the 3D panel, in that lights section, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the panel and click on the little light bulb icon. You're going to choose New Point Light. Now, a point light is just a small wireframe bulb that emits light in all directions. But I like the way it gives me a really dramatic result, so we're going to go ahead and use that one. So once you have the point light created, and it's selected here in the 3D panel, go to your Properties panel, and the first thing you want to do is click on this button that says Move to View. And it'll put it right in front of the can, and let's go ahead and grab up here in the options bar, grab the drag 3D object tool. I'm just going to click and drag up. And there's my little point light right there. Now the first thing I want to do is actually change the color of the light. I'm going to make it a blue light just to kind of go along with the background scene here. So in the properties panel, you're going to see next to, or just under the type menu here, there's a color setting and a color swatch. So go ahead and click on that, and let's just go ahead and give this a blue color here, about something like that. And I'm also going to dial up the intensity to 150. You can see how much it's gotten brighter and even changed the color on the can. But now I want to reposition it. So I'm going to take that slide tool once again, second to the last tool here at the top, or in the options bar here at the top. And I was going to take that light and push it toward the can. And when I do that, you're going to see the light a little bit more focused on the can itself on this one side here. See that? So what I'm doing is pulling the light, here's pulling the light closer, and here's pushing the light further away. And I'm going to drag that down, and we're going to illuminate that shadow area is basically what we're doing here. See that little glare of the blue light right there? That looks really good. All right. Move it a little bit closer. And that's what we're doing here. Is all we're doing is just filling in that shadow area with some lighting. So now let's go ahead and start a quick render just to see how that's going to look. So we're going to go to the 3D menu and go to Render 3D Layer. Depending on the speed of your machine, may have to wait a minute or two. And you can see that it's illuminating that side, that shadow area quite nicely, and I think that looks really good. Now we need to adjust that IBL. That glare that's on the can right now is a little bit too harsh. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Escape to cancel the render, and I'm going to select Environment here in the 3D panel. And this is when you'll see that orb appear, and it allows you to modify the position of that IBL. So I'm just going to use the 3D Orbit tool to just kind of click and rotate around. You can change the position of that light glare on the surface of the can. Now you can use the rotate tool, the 3D Orbit tool rather, but you can also use the rotate tool right here next to it to rotate the light to get it in just the position you want it to be. So let's just kind of twirl this around. So we're going to just kind of move this around until we get the glare right on the edge of it. There we go. I'm going to use the rotate just to kind of turn it a little bit on the side here. Because I want to get that glare right along the side, right about like that. There we go. So I can see that edge right along there that's being created by that bump map that we created. So let's see how that looks. I'm going to go ahead and, again, initiate the render. Shift-Option-Command-R is the keyboard shortcut, or Shift-Alt-Control-R. And I think that looks pretty good. So we've got some good lighting going on the side of the can. It's being generated by that point light. And I do believe I want to adjust that point light a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Escape again and stop that render. And let's grab that point light again and then just bring that position down a little bit. Right about there. That looks pretty good. And once again, I'm going to initiate that render, and that's going to look really good. So now the lighting's looking very nice on the side of the can and then the front, and everything looking very nice, and now really blends into the scene in a very convincing way. Now, in the next and final clip of this module, I want to show you a little trick to add a little bit of a blur effect to the bottom of the can, especially around the area of the splash right here, just to add a little bit more realism to the overall scene and to help sell the interaction of the water splashes to the can itself. So let's have a look at that.